So if any of you guys have watched my videos, you know I just moved to Utah from Arizona. I've been seeing a lot about whether or not buying the Epic Pass through Vail is worth it. Now that they're going corporate, they're a public company. Is it worth it to go to those mountains, or are they going downhill? So I want to do my little review of Park City. Obviously, this is really early season, but I just kind of want to, talk about the thoughts I've had since going to Park City. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm Tanner, and I'm going to walk you through my Park City experience. I'm coming off of having a cold, and I guess the air quality out here is really bad. It's been really smoggy at nights. So my breathing is like kind of messed up. I haven't had asthma since I was like 10, and now it's like coming back. So sorry if I'm taking pauses or my voice sounds off. I'm literally trying to catch my breath just from talking to the camera. So let's get into it. So I've gone to Park City a few times now. I usually go on Sundays and Mondays. This week I just went yesterday because I wasn't feeling up to going on Sunday. So honestly, I've had really good experiences with the mountain so far. They already have a handful of lifts open. They have a couple open on Canyon side, and then they also have a few open on the Park City side. Now, I've been trying to kind of get into the park. I'm trying to branch out. Last year, all I was doing was hitting jumps, and I love jumps. But right now, there's not an opportunity to hit big jumps or anything like that. Like the park at Park City has one jump at the end right now just because they don't have everything open. So I've kind of been starting to hit rails and boxes and tubes. So I have been staying mostly in the park, which honestly, the park's pretty good. It's very basic. I think it's a park where whether you're a beginner or you're advanced, you'll have a good time. So with the runs, it's been pretty nice. They've been blowing a lot of snow because we haven't gotten a ton since the very beginning of the season. Um, but it's honestly been pretty good. So you have to keep in mind with this review, the whole mountain isn't open, like I just said. So it's not a full review. I may go into it deeper as we get deeper into the season and there's more open. But for now, this is just based on what I'm seeing. One of the big issues I have noticed is the pricing with Vail. It is insane. So if you're an Epic Pass holder, you get, I think, if you got it early season, you get like 10 buddy tickets, and then like, I want to say it's 6 skiing with friends. I was shocked to find out that those passes don't really offer a discount. So me and some of my friends who don't live here and don't have an Epic Pass, they go to a different resort from where I used to live in Flagstaff, Arizona. We're all planning a trip to go to Colorado this year. So we're going to spend a couple days at Vail and a couple days at Loveland because they have Loveland on their pass. We have Vail. Me and my roommate have Vail on ours. So we're planning this trip out, and I was like, oh yeah, I have the buddy tickets. So if you guys want, I can send you a couple so you can get kind of a more discounted ticket through Epic. I go online and look and find out the tickets are more expensive with the buddy pass. I did this a couple weeks ago, and I don't remember for sure. I'll look online at the time of doing this video and see if anything's changed. But a day pass for Vail or for Park City, they're slightly different pricing, but pretty similar. A day pass was something like $100. So for a few days, it would be $300. But if you did the buddy ticket or the skiing with friends, it was significantly more expensive. So in my head, I'm like, how does that even work? How can it be more expensive if I give them a buddy pass that gives them up to a 40% discount than just doing the regular day pass? Well, if you really look into it, they're talking about giving you a discount versus buying it the day of. So if you were to just Go to Park City, walk up to the ticket booth and be like, hey, I want a ticket for today. You're going to get a little bit of a discount. But if you buy it online, it is significantly cheaper to not use your buddy passes. Like I said, I don't remember the exact price. And when I go through and edit this video, I'll look online and I'll see if the prices are still similar to what I saw when I checked a couple weeks ago. But I want to say for 3 days of just buying the regular day ticket, it was around $300. But if you use the buddy pass, it was around $500. Or the skiing with friends. One of them was much higher than the other. I think the skiing with friends was more expensive and the buddy pass was less. Okay, so I want to make a quick update to this video. I was talking about the prices for the Epic Day Pass versus the Epic Buddy Pass you get if you're a season pass holder. And I went to look at it now. When I looked, 3 weeks ago, I guess the Epic Day Pass was on sale and they were a little bit cheaper, actually significantly cheaper. I think I said it was like around $300 for the Epic Day Pass and it was like $500 or $600 for the Buddy Pass or the Ski with Friends Pass. So looking at it right now, this is updated numbers. Obviously, the sale is over because the prices have changed a lot. So for 3 days of riding at Park City, if you buy the Epic Day Pass, and it's not anytime soon, this is a month out. It's on February 3rd because that's when I'm going out of town. It's $765 for the whole 3 days. And then if you do the skiing with friends for the same 3 days at Park City as well, this is an Epic Pass benefit where you get a discount by, you get a certain amount of discounted lift tickets you can give to your friends. It costs $817.59. So it's about $60 more to do the ski with friends discount versus just buying the day pass. So it's not as expensive as I thought it was when I had originally checked, but nonetheless, it's still more expensive if you get the discounted lift ticket. So it's just something I want to very quickly bring up because I misquoted you previously. They say, you get 10 buddy passes if you buy it early season. That's bullshit. I don't think that's worth it at all. They're a lot more expensive. In my head, if the day passes are really expensive through Epic, I'm thinking everything else is probably going to be similar. So they offer with Epic Pass holders a 20% discount on food, lodging, stuff like that through the mountain. It's like one of those things where you go to a store and they're like, oh yeah, this is on sale for 20% off or whatever. And it's really, they just marked up the price and then discounted at the 20% so it equals the original price. So I'm thinking they're marking up the food way more, which ski resort food is already really expensive. Everybody knows that you should bring your own food. That's obvious. But, one day I went there and I was like, I'm going to buy some food there. I want to check it out. I want to see the pricing. I want to see how good it is. I go in there. It was like $15 for one slice of pizza. And me and my roommate were trying to do the math. How much does it cost for them to make those pizzas? I would guess it's a few bucks for them to make the whole thing. Maybe cost $5 for them to make the whole entire pizza. And they're selling it by the slice for $15. So I got pizza and a drink. And I think out the door it came out to $17. And that's including the 20% discount. So even with the 20% discount, they're marking things up so high that it's almost not even worth it because it doesn't matter. Everything's just marked up an extra 20% or whatever to kind of even it out. So you're not really getting that much of a discount. So I think that's been a huge issue with Vail. They've gone public. They're a publicly traded company and they have to appease their investors. So I think they're way more focused on appeasing their investors than the skiers and snowboarders who are going to their resorts. Now, it's a little bit frustrating for everybody. I watched this great breakdown. I'll put a link in the description. I watched a great breakdown of this channel who basically showed their sales and how much they've made and how much they've lost over the past couple seasons. And it really shows they are just trying to appease the investors. They don't care about us going. So the prices are high, but are the mountains good? Are the mountains worth it? I've gone to Park City a few times now, and I'm planning a trip to Vail, but I haven't gone there. But from what I've seen so far, Park City is still a pretty amazing mountain. It is massive. if you park on the Park City side, and then let's say halfway through the day, you're like, you know what, I'm going to go over to Canyon. I want to hit some of those runs because right now the lift that connects the two mountains isn't open. Driving from the parking lot at Park City to the other one is about 9 minutes. It's a 3-mile drive to get from one side of the mountain to the other. So it is a massive mountain. For somebody like me who's never been to this mountain, I could most likely this whole entire season hit different trails every single day. I go about once a week, sometimes twice. So I could probably hit new trails every single day for my whole first season because of how big the mountain is. So there's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of tree runs. They have a few parks. They have a lot of blacks. They have a couple bowls at the top. They have a lot of great stuff. It's a beautiful mountain. I mean, Utah has some of the most amazing snow from what I've heard. And I understand Park City, because it's on the other side of the mountain, doesn't get the same amount of snow as like Snowbird, Solitude, and Brighton. But nonetheless, if you're used to skiing a small resort like I am, it's still pretty amazing. So I'll break down some of the clips that I got. I got a few clips just kind of riding around. The biggest thing, though, was the park for me. If you like park right now, like I said, whether you're a beginner or more advanced, there's something for everybody. They have wide boxes, small boxes. They have big tubes, small rails. There's a lot of different options for everybody to hit. So right now, they've kind of changed the park a little bit in the past day or so. But what it was looking like when I first went is at the very top, you unload off the lift. Then you have a little rail over here. It's kind of like a waterfall that comes out of the snow with a rail on top. And then they have a box over here. So you can kind of go either way. Obviously, most of the advanced people are hitting the rail, and the more of the basic people like me are just hitting the box. You go down the box, and then there's a tube and a rail here. And then after you go over that, there is another just classic, not super small, a decent sized rail right here. And there's one that's about the same size, but it's like a C rail. So that'll lead into a drop. So you go off the rail and you go down a drop into the actual main part of the park. And then at the top, you have a big tube and then a box here. So again, you can kind of go either way. How I saw it was if you're facing down the park, the left side is the more basic side. There's a lot of boxes, a few tubes, and then the right side is the more advanced side where it's all rails, ollie on, curved rails, elbow rails and pipes. So you can kind of go either way. For me, I've mostly been staying on the left side. There are a couple rails I've been hitting. I'm pretty new to hitting rails, but there's a few kind of basic ones that you ollie onto, but you don't have to ollie too much. You can kind of almost just ride on. They barely poke out. So I've been kind of trying to branch out and hit those rails. And then you get past the box and rail section, and they have one main jump. So the jump is on either side. And then right in the middle, there's an up rail. And then kind of goes down into another jump that has a big waterfall poking out of the top, where you can either hit the hip on the side or go straight up and over and try and grind the waterfall. And then you go into one more box, a rail, and then a tube at the very end. So there's a lot of options. From what I've seen so far, beginning of the season, it's amazing. Now, obviously, my perspective is going to be different than somebody who's been riding Park City for years or snowbird for years or who's been just snowboarding or skiing in general in Utah for a long time. So my perspective is more for a beginner. I wouldn't quite say I'm a beginner. I would say I'm more in the intermediate range, kind of teetering on advanced, meaning I can hit any run on the mountain. I'm, double blacks, bowls. I'm fine with that. But the park is kind of my downfall. That's where I would say I'm a little bit of a lower tier. But my perspective is mostly for kind of the beginner out there who hasn't hit Park City that much or who's going to smaller mountains kind of in other states and other places, visiting Park City for the first time. I have no doubt you'll have an amazing time. Now, like I said, the best way to do it is to just get the season pass. The day passes are insane. If you're going to go more than 10 days, it's worth it for sure to actually get the Epic Pass. The reason I went Epic over Icon is the main mountains that I was going to decide on was between Park City and Snowbird. Icon Pass has a certain amount of days at Snowbird and then unlimited days at Solitude. So if I got the Icon, I'd go to Solitude as much as I wanted, but I could only go to Snowbird a few times. With the Epic Pass, I can go to Park City as much as I want. And because Solitude wasn't the mountain that I had kind of narrowed down my ideal mountains to, I decided to go with Epic so I could get unlimited times at Park City. So the pass is for sure worth it, especially if you think you're going to be doing a trip to Colorado or somewhere else where you want to try other mountains. It's so worth it. And I know the Icon has a lot of great mountains too, but Vail has some really cool mountains. Like I think they have Whistler Blackcomb, they have Keystone, they have Vail. There's a lot of cool stuff to check out with Epic, so that's why I went that route. Next year I may try something new. It's all going to depend on how this season goes. But like I said, this is for a beginner's perspective. Overall, I would highly, highly recommend the Epic Pass in Park City. It is expensive. That's a huge downfall. But realistically, all the season passes are kind of in the same price point. In fact, I think Icon was a little bit more expensive than the Epic Pass was. But you get to travel and try out other things. You can travel to Europe. They have mountains out there. You know, I think they have mountains in Italy. They have mountains, I think, in Japan, Colorado, Canada, Utah, all over the U.S. There's a lot of options. So if you get the season pass, you have a lot of bang for your buck. I will most likely do another update when they have more blacks and other things open. But as of now, beginning of season, for somebody who's never gone to Park City before, I think it's so worth it. It's a beautiful mountain. They have great snow. The park is awesome. I can't even imagine how it's going to be when they have the full parks open with the half pipe, the jumps, rail garden. It's going to be insane. So I would say if you're a beginner and you're kind of debating on what mountain to go to, or you're new to Utah, Park City's a great option. Snowbird's great too. I haven't been there, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. But if you get the Snowbird Pass, I'm pretty sure you're stuck at Snowbird and Alta. But yeah, I think it's worth it. Go check it out. Give Park City a try. And if you are thinking about converting from day passes to season passes and you're starting to go more, I think the Epic Pass is a great option for the price. So with that being said, guys, like, subscribe. If you want to see more like this, leave a comment down below. I want to know what you guys want to see. Right now, I'm so new to this YouTube thing. I'm kind of trying to make different types of videos and kind of go all over the place and see what kind of stuff works. So leave a comment down below. I want to know what you guys like. But I will see you next time. Later.